It is, go ahead, it's all right. It is Sunday, the 14th of September. I'm in front of the Unitarian Church of Montreal. I'm engaged in my alternative spiritual practice of protesting against Unitarian Universalists, injustices, abuses, and hypocrisy. I have two chalk slogans on the sidewalk, one of them being this one: American Unitarians misuse Canadian blasphemy law to conceal pedophilia and rape. And up the other end there I have a slogan saying that Unitarians cover up and deny clergy sexual abuse of children. Both statements are entirely truthful, and behind the bushes there's a SPVM police car. I'm going to start walking that way. John Inder, the president of the church, along with Amber Dawn Belshas, we're discussing the situation with the police. No doubt John is trying to get them to, you know, get rid of me one way or another, either through a ticket or through a criminal charge of one kind or another. So he gave them his side of the story, which almost certainly is full of bullshit. And now I'm waiting to speak with them. They indicated that they do want to speak with me. So I'm just going to put the camera down to waist level, as it usually is when I'm walking back and forth, and we continue walking back and forth with picket signs until they want to talk with me. So that's that. So as we walk towards the police car, well, here we have John Inder and Amber Dawn Belshas having a little oh, I love this. Vivre ensemble, live in harmony. You know, they've got this banner which talks about living in harmony. Well, they're not trying very hard to live in harmony with me, are they? Not at all. Now, admittedly, I am protesting, but you know, if they agreed to enter into dialogue, well, we could probably resolve this. But they don't want to. They don't want to admit the wrongdoing that they are clearly and unequivocally guilty of, which includes trying to censor and suppress critics, such as yours truly, which they're doing right now with this call to the police. And as I said, we'll continue walking back and forth here. This is the other slogan I spoke about. I'll just come around and get a view of it. That's the police car there. So, Unitarians cover up and deny clergy sexual abuse of children. An entirely truthful statement, based on actually more than one pieces of very hard evidence that Unitarian Universalists do in fact try to. Oui.
C'est sûr qu'on vous connaît, hein? C'est
oui, c'est bien connu.
Ouais. Donc, écoutez, c'est sûr que là, il y a comme du nouveau ici aujourd'hui par les écritures que vous avez faites sur le trottoir.
Ouais.
Je conçois, c'est un endroit public.
Ouais.
Vos pancartes, j'ai pas de problème avec, sont dans un endroit public. Puis
ça.
vous obstruez pas rien, j'ai aucun problème avec ça. La seule chose que je vais vous demander, c'est de ne pas aborder les gens. OK? Aborder, aller parler à les gens, puis vous avez le droit de manifester, vous le savez, depuis le temps que vous êtes ici. Ça fait 15 ans que vous êtes en conflit avec...
Effectivement, oui.
Ouais,
depuis mai 98.
OK. J'ai aucun problème avec ça. C'est votre droit de manifester, ça c'est certain. OK?
Merci.
Donc, la seule affaire que je vais vous demander, c'est de respecter les gens qui veulent y aller quand même.
Oui.
Okay?
Moi, c'est très rare que je parle avec les membres, mais des fois, eux autres disent quelque chose à moi.
OK.
Et en ce cas-là, je pense que moi, j'ai le droit de réplique. Et effectivement, dans une manif, je peux avoir un mégaphone, comme vous le savez, je peux faire de bruit, je fais pas ça, mais moi, j'entends qu'est-ce que vous disiez, je prends ça en note, mais je veux dire que dans le contexte d'une manif, dans le contexte de protester, etc., moi, je pense que j'ai le droit de dire quelque chose aussi.
Mais il y a certaines limites à ne pas franchir.
Oh oui, c'est ça. Je ne peux pas les menacer, etc. Oui, je suis tout à fait d'accord avec ça.
Même pour le son. Même pour le son, tu sais, si vous avez
le son, si on veut parler de le son, on peut parler de la mairie il y a quelques semaines où il y avait des...
Le son, inquiétez-vous pas, les gens qui vont avoir les sanctions vont les avoir. Ça, c'est pas votre problème, mais ça s'applique pour vous aussi.
Oui, oui.
Vous comprenez?
Oui, oui. Là,
parfait.
C'est très rare que I almost never shout. If I shout, it's because they're like 30 feet away and I want them to hear what I'm saying.
Perfect. Mais on veut juste s'assurer que ça se fasse dans le calme et dans le respect.
Oui, moi, normalement, c'est exactement quand vous pouvez aller sur YouTube, vous pouvez voir les vidéos.
Ah, inquiétez-vous pas, on le sait. Inquiétez-vous pas, on le sait.
Et je te remercie pour votre intervention assez professionnelle et polie aujourd'hui.
Pas de problème, mon cher monsieur.
Merci beaucoup.
En espérant que vous restiez, vous aussi, dans cette optique
normalement,
de politesse.
Je pense que si vous allez sur YouTube, vous allez regarder les vidéos. Je suis assez paisible depuis 15 ans. Dans tous les 15 ans, j'ai pas fait le moindre physical harm to anyone.
J'espère, il faut pas. J'espère.
I've been assaulted a few times. In fact, you can see some videos of that too. Mais de toute façon, merci beaucoup aujourd'hui et merci pour respecter mes droits.
C'est sûr que moi, aujourd'hui, je ne vous ferai pas répéter toute votre histoire au complet parce qu'on la connaît.
Non, c'est ça nécessaire.
Mais je vais juste vous faire le point pour aujourd'hui.
Moi, c'est ça.
On va aller parler à l'autre monsieur.
Allez-y, oui.
Puis pas interférer dans...
Tu veux pas que je promène avec tes pancartes?
Oui, juste
le c'est bon. Oui, aucun problème. So that was one of the most polite and professional interventions that I've had from Station 11 police officers who, you know, they know me quite well. Now this is interesting. They're in a car 44-4, which is not local. The police have been switching up cars. I'm not sure if they're switching up crews. So I'm not sure if these two officers are local or not. They may be from a different district. Let's see what it says here. Rosemont, La Petite Patrie. So these two officers may in fact not be from Station 11. They may be from Rosemont, La Petite Patrie in the east. So that might explain why they were in the car. They were probably discussing with the station, assuming that they're not from the local station. They probably were trying to get background on this protest, and they obviously did, in that they know that I've been protesting for 15 years, although they probably got that information from John Inder too, I suppose. Oh, excusez. So I'm not supposed to walk back and forth with, I'm just so used to walking back and forth with picket signs that it's just a habit, actually. So they're having a little chat with John Inder, and I think they're going to explain to John that I'm basically entirely within my rights, which is what I've always believed. You know, in the past, police have contested these chalk slogans. I've been given tickets for chalk slogans that I do not believe I should have been. Well, I should say a ticket. I've actually had one single ticket for the supposedly dirtying the sidewalk. You know, there's a law against dirtying the sidewalk, and a couple of SPVM police officers gave me a ticket for, you know, supposedly dirtying the sidewalk with my slogans, which at the time did not speak about such things as clergy sexual abuse of children. You know, in the past I've had police officers demand that I remove the freestanding picket signs that I have here, claiming that I had no right to have them. But these police and others in the past... okay, here they come.
Juste pour vous rappeler
Oui.
Que le trottoir, c'est le domaine public.
Oui.
Vous avez le droit d'écrire les choses à la craie sur le trottoir, mais le monsieur a aussi le droit de les enlever.
Oui.
Donc, on veut juste pas que ça occasionne de conflit, parce qu'à ce moment-là... ça...
S'il veut les enlever maintenant avec de l'eau, il peut le faire, puis moi, je vais faire une belle vidéo de ça.
Mais c'est son droit de le faire.
C'est ça, c'est son droit de le faire. Et moi, je vais lui laisser faire, je vais prendre une belle vidéo de ça, puis je vais mettre ça sur YouTube.
On veut juste pas de conflit. On veut juste pas de conflit.
Oui. Moi, comme je dis, c'est pas moi qui débute les conflits. C'est eux autres qui disent quelque chose de stupide, puis à ce moment-là, vous pouvez voir les vidéos que j'ai fait la semaine dernière. Quelqu'un a passé. Il a dit, vous n'avez rien de mieux à faire, blablabla. On a eu une petite discussion concernant ça. Voilà.
Mais écoutez, moi, je vous avais, c'est sûr et certain que le monsieur veut enlever les messages. On veut juste pas que ça occasionne de conflit.
Moi, je suis certain qu'il veut enlever les messages aussi parce que lui, il veut cacher le fait que eux autres font ça.
Mais là, présentement, vous êtes conscient de la limite à ne pas franchir.
Oui.
Et on ne voudrait pas que cette limite soit franchie.
Normalement, je ne franchis aucune limite.
Parfait. Bonne journée, mon cher monsieur.
Bonne journée.
Toi aussi, et bonne chance avec vos... Okay, so they are telling me that John, you know, I have the right to put these chalk slogans on the sidewalk. They specifically said that, which is good because I've always believed that. You know, I believe that the ticket I got should never have been given to me. I contested it, but I got a hard-nosed judge who upheld it, and I refused to pay it. I actually lost my driver's license as a result of not paying that ticket. But what they're telling me is that I have the right to make this chalk slogan, but John Inder and the church have a right to remove it, and that they don't want a conflict between me and the church when or if the church, tries to remove the slogan. And they're just warning me that they don't want a conflict. And I said, hey, fine, well, let them remove it. I'll just take a video of them removing it. Oh, here he goes. Oh, look at this. This is perfect. So we're just going to take a nice video of John covering up and hiding the fact that the Unitarian Universalist Association of Congregations misuses Canadian blasphemy law to try and cover up and hide the fact that Unitarian Universalists...
There is no hint of sexual abuse at this church. These signs mislead people to think this is slander.
No, it's not. It says right there, buddy, American Unitarians.
Go put this in America.
No, I'm putting it here. This is the seventh principle. Oh, this is very good. So, John Inder, what you're doing right now, John, is covering up and hiding the fact that the Unitarian Universalist Association of Congregations misuses Canadian blasphemy law to try and cover up and hide the fact that certain Unitarian Universalist ministers do in fact engage in such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape. So you, sir, are trying to cover up and hide clergy sexual abuse committed by Unitarian Universalists. That's exactly what you're doing. Yes, you are. You are covering up. You are hiding.
That the person is convicted who was guilty, so there's no cover-up.
Yes, there is a cover-up. They're trying to remove my blog post. They're trying to hide the public information about it. There's definitely a cover-up, and you are covering up right now. I could have a slogan just saying that certain Unitarian Universalist ministers are actually guilty of pedophilia and rape, and you covering that up, you sir, are now 100% guilty of complicity in cover-up of such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape committed by Unitarian Universalist ministers. Congratulations, John Inder, President of the Unitarian Church of Montreal. So yes, we had a little verbal discussion, which I think I'm well within my rights to have. This is a protest. So John Inder, after the police told me that I have the right to have these slogans, but John Inder or the church people have the right to get rid of them, comes out and he has some water and he totally obliterates the slogan, which did say, American Unitarians misuse Canadian blasphemy law to conceal pedophilia and rape, and he turned it into a work of contemporary art. This is really quite artistic. And he's coming out again with some more water. Oh, this is good. So here comes John with more water. So here comes John Inder, President of the Unitarian Church of Montreal, trying to cover up and hide the fact that Unitarian Universalist ministers, some of them anyway, are actually guilty of the clergy sexual abuse of children. So John Inder is trying to cover up and hide Unitarian Universalist clergy sexual misconduct. And he doesn't seem to be the least bit ashamed of it.
No, I feel it's slander.
It's slander. You're an idiot if you think it's slander. I'm telling the truth. Slander is when you falsely say something. I am telling the truth. Unitarians do in fact try to cover up, and you're doing it right now because you're trying to cover up the fact that I'm saying they cover up clergy sexual abuse. You, sir, are guilty of doing exactly, you are guilty of what that chalk slogan said. So that is John Inder, and he just obliterated the slogan that said Unitarians cover up and deny clergy sexual abuse of children. It is no longer readable. John Inder, by doing that, is guilty himself of trying to cover up and deny that Unitarian Universalist ministers are guilty of, not all of them obviously, but a certain number, are guilty of sexual abuse of children. Congratulations, John Elder. And he's totally shameless about it. He's calling it slander. I mean, is he an idiot? Does he really believe that any religious community doesn't have some clergy that sexually abuse children? Does he really believe that the Unitarian Universalists are completely free of any attempt to cover up and deny such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape, to borrow a phrase from Stikeman Elliott Barristers and Solicitors litigation lawyer? So this is just incredibly foolish behavior on the part of John Ender. Total psychological denial, total complicity and cover-up of Unitarian Universalist cover-up of such despicable crimes as pedophilia, rape, clergy sexual abuse of children. John Ender just validated this picket sign here that says, "You use, censor, and suppress critics." He tried to have the police get rid of me. They finally recognized my right to do exactly what I'm doing. They said everything I did was within the law, as opposed to some other police officers in the past who have given me tickets for doing exactly the same thing. John Ender just validated this picket sign here that says, "You use, censor, and suppress critics." And as I said, he's saying that this is slanderous. Well, no, it actually tells you 100%. He's saying that this reflects badly on the church locally. Well, it does to some degree, but he says it slanders it. Well, no, it doesn't. It says American Unitarians misuse Canadian blasphemy law. What part of American Unitarians does he fail to understand? So I'm specifically saying in this case that it is American Unitarians, and more specifically, it's the UUA leaders, like UUA President, Reverend Peter Morales, like former UUA Vice President, Kathleen K. Montgomery, like former UUA Moderator, Jeannie Courter, like various other top-level UUA administrators, to say nothing of lower-level UUA administrators who were involved in the UUA's attempt to cover up and hide clergy sexual abuse of children. John Ender is 100% implicated in this. So the police said they did not want a conflict. I made it clear that I was well within my rights to say a thing or two, that I wouldn't interfere with what he was doing, but that I would, reserve the right to say a thing or two. I said a thing or two, I'm saying a thing or two, and I think we're just about done. But if this does not illustrate, how Unitarian Universalists, instead of dealing responsibly with the issues, try to cover up and hide some of the worst forms of clergy sexual misconduct, I don't know what else does. And John Ender is absolutely 100% guilty of complicity in cover-up and denial of Unitarian Universalist clergy sexual misconduct of the worst kind by erasing this chalk slogan. He tried to get rid of the whole protest. You can be sure that in his discussions with the police, he was trying to get them to get rid of me completely one way or another, or at least give me a ticket or something. He definitely wanted me gone. But the police, in one of the most polite and professional interventions that I've had, and I will say, when they behave in a polite and professional manner, I will say so. I will criticize them when they behave badly, but I will tell the truth when they behave well, and they behaved well today. As far as I'm concerned, I have zero complaints about how they conducted themselves today. I even thanked them and shook their hands and so on. But John Ender, well, that's another story. And it's not just John Ender. I mean, I'm talking about John Ender because he's the one who physically is most responsible for what just happened. But Amber Dawn Belshas is implicated too. She documented this. Every single church member is responsible for what happened today, as far as I'm concerned. As far as I'm concerned, this is living proof that Montreal Unitarians, the Unitarian Church of Montreal as a community, is implicated in Unitarian Universalists' cover-up and denial of clergy sexual abuse of the worst kind, specifically such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape, specifically clergy sexual abuse of children. You know, this John Inder is the president of the church. He's a top-level representative of the church, and he came out here and washed away my chalk slogans. Now, the police did say that I have every right to put down chalk slogans. So guess what? We're going to put up... that guy in the bike said what? I'm going to write some new ones. I'll write a couple more slogans, and we'll see what happens. And I think I'll stick around a bit longer. I hadn't been planning to. I was going to actually leave a bit early today, but when it became clear that the police were going to show up and we were going to have a discussion, I stuck around. And we had one of the best discussions so far with the police. One which I think will set a precedent for any future discussions with the police as well. Anyway, the police clearly said I have a right to write chalk slogans on the sidewalk, as I have always believed. And so I'm going to write a few more. And that's it for now. I will set up the camera on the tripod, get out some chalk, and write a couple more slogans. And that will be that for now.